So we're going to add 360 and 2 pi. When I go all the way around the circle, I've gone 360 degrees. That's your degrees. And I've gone 2 pi radians. Okay?
Wait, can we put this on the one that does?
Is it? Yep. So what is a radian? When you go around your unit circle, we know your unit circle is a circle of radius of what? You learned this the other day. What's 1? The unit circle radius is 1, right? So if I'm going to find the circumference of the unit circle, is going to be 2 pi r, or diameter times pi. So if the radius of a unit circle is 1, what is the diameter? If the radius is 1,
It's 2.
yeah, the diameter is twice that much. So the circumference of a unit circle is 2 pi. I'll explain that in a minute. So 2 pi, because it's the diameter times pi. You just gunka pi, okay? So I want you to think of the unit circle as the pies that you get at Costco. They're humongous, right? So if I went home and ate half of that big guy, it's like eating one whole pie of my grandma's pies. You understand that? Everything is different. If you look at your unit circle, you're going to see pi over 2 here, up at the top. If I ate a quarter of that big pie at Costco, it's like eating a half of a regular pie. You understand that? Everything's kind of double. There's 2 pi all the way around. 1/2 pi is 1/4. 1 whole pie is half the circle. You see it? So you've got to wrap your head, because that's the circumference. So you've got to wrap your head around the fact that 2 pi is 1 rotation around the unit circle. 1 pi is a half a rotation. Okay? And you've got, if once you start seeing it, you get used to it. But at the beginning, it's like, gosh, a quarter of a pi is a half a pi? Like, how does that work? Okay? When you think about it, if you look at your unit circle, and this is 2 pi over here. I just had you put that there, right? And this is 3/2 pi. How many halves are in 2?
Or 2.
4.
4 halves. This is the same as 4/2 pi, all the way around the circle, right? So your numerator, there are 4 halves in this pi. Well, that doesn't make sense. You're not used to thinking that way. You're thinking of a circle. Half of a circle is half, right? But now half of a circle is a whole, and the whole circle is 2. 2 of them. So how many 6 do you think there are around the circle? What makes 2? 12/6 pi. So this also is 12/6 pi. How many thirds are around that circle? Thirds. 6. 6/3 pi. And those are the denominators you see on your unit circle. You see halves. You see some fourths too. How many fourths are on the circle?
8.
8/4 pi. Aren't all of those fractions equal to 2?
Yeah.
So if you're dealing with thirds, you've got 6 of them around the circle. If you're dealing with fourths, you've got 8 of them around the circle, because you're thinking about the big pie at Costco. It's twice as big as the other pies. Okay? Kinda? So when I'm finding, if I'm finding a degree to a radius, let's say I have 300 degrees, well, you can look at your unit circle right here, and there's 300 degrees. What's the radians right next to it on your unit circle? So that is equal to 5 pi over 3. Got it? Well, let's see. When I do the formula, let's see what happens. I take my degrees, I multiply it by pi over 180, And what you're going to do in your calculator is just put this in as a fraction, 300 over 180. And hit math, enter on your calculator. So here, if we have 645 degrees, we just take 645, multiply it by pi over 180. In your calculator, put 645 divided by 180, and tell me what fraction you get. There's 24 twelfths in a unit circle. And 43 is bigger than 24, right? Because you have to go around more than once. And 645, don't we go around more than once? So it kind of makes sense. It absolutely makes sense. What about negative 330?
Negative 11 over 6.
Negative 330 over 180 and gunka pi is negative 11 over 6 pi. Don't forget the pi. Okay, so since negative 330 is coterminal with 30 degrees, how many sixths are there in a unit circle?
12.
12. So we're going in this direction, and we're going almost there. So we're going to 1/6 pi. And what is 30 degrees in radians? 1/6 pi. So negative 11/6 pi is coterminal with 1/6 pi. They just went around the south side of Charlotte and went all the way around instead of just going from 0, boop, right there. Okay? Every circle could have a different radius. Every circle has 360 degrees. You can do one this small. You can make a circle humongous. It's still 360 degrees. But your circumference is going to change. So in a unit circle, it's a circle of radius of 1. It has a circumference of 2 pi. And each angle creates an arc that is the radian of that, is that portion of the whole circle. Okay? That's why you're putting in the fraction. Now, when you're converting radian into degrees, you take your radian and you multiply it, instead of pi over 180, you multiply it by 180 over pi, and you get your degrees. You can write that formula down, which I think you already did on your unit circle. So, if I have negative 43 over 36 pi times 180 over pi, what's going to happen to the pi's? They're going to bite the dust. So in your calculator, just put that times 180, and the pi goes away, and tell me what the degrees is. You can.
Can I use the bathroom?
The last one, we take 10/3 pi times 180 over pi. The pi's bite the dust, and you get 1800 over 3, which is 600 degrees. That's what your calculator should give you. Let's say I have 337 degrees. I multiply it by pi over 180. You put this in the calculator, and you gunka pi.
What's that mean?
You just, what is 337 divided by 180? Well, that's why you need a calculator.
Okay, it's 1.87.
But when you get home, you need to convert that into a fraction.
Oh, okay.
And then you're just going to put a pi on the end.
What would a fraction
Okay.
be?
Let me know when you get to that part.
It's slightly different.